Hiya, I'm Hannah and I've been a police officer now for just about 4 months. I personally chose Lancashire from the inputs that they gave at my university. They were very informative. There was so much information they gave us, from knowing that we need to do a fitness test all the way to the application and how long it was going to be, to the interviews, what sort of thing to say, what sort of thing not to say. And now I've joined the job. Everyone is so friendly. I've not met one person yet that has not treated me as they would treat the chief constable. Everyone treats you with respect. So last week we came back from our 4 weeks in division, which is just 4 weeks of operational on response at different teams across Lancashire Constabulary. And it is basically just to give you a flavour of response policing. So out and about in cars, going to grade ones, dealing with members of the public, doing night safe, so that's during the night in the biggest places, so Preston, Blackpool, places like that.
So hi, I'm Camille and I've been here for 4 months now. So I've done from one spectrum to the other. I've done something as low level as someone called in about a neighbour dispute, and you just going in there, just having a chat with them, and you showing that visible presence there just lets them, basically tells them, it's so minor, there was no point of us actually coming out, but us being there just still shows the community that we're actually doing, we're actually out there doing something. And I've also dealt with a sudden death where, personally, I've never seen a dead body before, and going and having to basically make sure there was no foul play in that, and touching, and with gloves on and stuff, touching, a cold person, it's not something I'd ever thought I'd be doing in my life. And then having their sort of next of kin relative upstairs, having to go to them and talk to them about their deceased, it's just seeing them cry, it does pull on your heartstrings a bit, but you've got to remain professional. And at the end they do like a debrief with you to find out how you feel and see if you need any help or anything. But I personally found out I've got a pretty strong stomach to that, so it didn't really affect me too much, but I still remained professional and showed empathy to the person and treated the deceased person as you should, and not like a thing but an actual person.
Hi, my name's Sam and I've been a police officer for 4 months. I think everyone asking that question would say being out is just the best, because it's hands-on, we get to know what we're doing, we get a taste of it, and that's good. But when we're in class, I'd say we had a PST week, that was really fun. You've got all your friends in the room and you get to throw them to the ground and put handcuffs on them, and it's a good time. But having guest speakers come in, so you've got a load of different people from loads of different backgrounds from policing who've got loads of different years of experience, and they come in and just have a chat with you and just tell you their side and what they've seen and how to be better preparers for what we're going to undertake when we actually go out.
You're on patrol and Damien happens to stumble right in front of you. How might this pan out? Action.
At headquarters, at training in a classroom, we've done a lot of role play days in our first 10 weeks of classroom-based training, and I found that really, really helpful. I keep saying to everyone it should be done more. And then we had a little practice on the radios and things, and that was just very funny.
What we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take you in to custody. So you are going to be placed under arrest.
We've just been doing scenario-based work where we've learned everything we've learned today, we've put into practice. Learning how to handcuff people, learning how to tape people to the ground, putting them both together, and then deal with different public order scenarios. And the trainers were really good, and
Just getting us used to things like in real life situations. We've had weapons out, knives and things like that, and it's been really good really, because without those scenarios we're just doing it quite calmly. When you've got your shouting and your screaming going on, it's really good.
Yeah, so like I said, like one of my colleagues said, there's only 21 of us. You get to know them pretty well. You get to know them very well. You go out, you see them, it's sort of, you don't feel alone. If it'd be 170 people, it might be a bit opposite. Trying to get to know all those people, it'd take a bit of time. But having 10 weeks and 21 people, we probably know each other within the first week or so. You're already hanging out with everyone and doing all that. And even out in division, like I said before, it's everyone's just so happy to have you. They just want to get to know you and constantly asking questions, trying to get more and more and more, to the point of where, honestly, you might as well be like brothers and sisters with them. Having end of topic knowledge checks, it does help you sort of get that all into your brain, and when you go out, it does stick with you. You know, I'll go out to something, I'm like, oh wait, I know this, I know what to do in this situation. So I'll be able to take lead in those, you know, at those times, because regular officers won't expect you to do that. I'll be like, do you know what, let me handle it, I know what I'm doing here. And it's been really interesting, you know, doing that stuff.
So it's just the amount of information that you've got to take in. It's a lot, and you have to remember it, obviously. But also good because we've had some knowledge checks throughout the way just to test us a little bit, which has been really helpful. Gives you the areas where you need to maybe have a little look again on, and other areas where you think, oh, I've learnt that.
I'd say Lancashire Constabulary have very high expectations, and they expect you to be prepared, and they expect you to know what you want, and they want you to be almost proactive in a way to, how do I word it, just be ready for the job.
Yeah, my biggest advice is do your research. Do your research on loads of different forces. Don't narrow yourself to one force. Every force does things differently. The application process is long. You need to do your research on the constabulary you're going for. I used to practice in front of the mirror because I used to be very nervous about speaking to people I didn't know or being put on the spot. And you are put on the spot during the interviews and the assessment stages. So just, yeah, have a one-up on populations of constabularies, the different areas, what their main focus is. Lancashire's main focus is victims at the minute. It's all about the victims. So knowing that, you can go into an interview and talk about that. They'll really like that, I think. That's the biggest thing for me. Just make sure you've done your research about application processes. And ask your lecturers. They know a lot. They can help with applications, what to say, what not to say, how to dress. That's really silly, but even how to dress. So, yeah, biggest advice: do your research.
Research. Look into Lancashire Constabulary. We're very victim focused, and I don't think I personally didn't look into it as much as I probably should have. But I am fortunate that I started early enough to prepare myself for the interviews. They are difficult as well with the online assessment centres. They're very difficult, and starting early enough will just prepare you mentally and physically for what's going to happen, because if you don't prepare for it, you can't really expect, you don't know what's going to happen. So if you prepare and prepare and prepare, then you've got a lower chance of actually failing.
Cool. And why should someone choose Lancashire?
Staff. I think all the trainers, and just all police officers, everyone really, all police staff, just civilian staff even, they're all just lovely people. All want to have a chat with you. Doesn't matter if you're a police officer, a police constable, or inspector, or chief inspector, they're all just treat you the same. Granted, you know, with the higher you go, you show some sort of respect. You have to show respect, but apart from that, they're all human anyway, so you just have a chat with them, and it's just lovely. You can't get this anywhere else. I think Lancashire Constabulary is probably, it is the best force. Not because I work here, but I just overall think it is the best one.
And again, no one's paid to
No one's paid me to say any of that, no.
Okay.
I mean, I've lived in Lancashire for 3 years, so I've got a bit of a understanding, and I've seen police officers when I wasn't actually a police officer out, and I saw how professional they were, and I thought, you know what, I am picking the right force to come in. So it is quite calming to see officers out. When you're out and not being a police officer, you know, dealing with situations professionally, it just means, you know what, you're joining a very good force here. You know what you'll be doing.